All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Farm or Farm Kid channel. And today we are presented with a real life situation that perhaps you might have actually encountered yourself. I just encountered it here today. I have a gallon of two-stroke gas and oil mixed up, and I have it mixed at 60-1. And you may also see it written out as that type of a ratio. So it's 60 parts gas to 1 part oil, and we usually deal in ounces. So we can say 60 ounces of gas to 1 ounce of oil. And what I need to do is I have a chainsaw that requires the mix at 50-1 gas of oil. And here's the thing, the 61, I don't need any longer. It was actually for a motorcycle I'm not riding now. So I would like to be able to use that gas oil mix in something else. Well, that something else is mixed at 50-1. So basically, what do I do? And again, these can be written in that manner as well. So what we're presented with here is basically a weighted averages problem. I can't take gas out of the 60-1. I can't just withdraw it. It's the equivalent of taking some of that gas and dumping it into whatever I'm using the 61 in, right? I can't separate the oil and gas. So to reduce that ratio or to make it leaner gas-wise, the only thing I can do is add oil to it to reduce the proportion of oil to gas. So a 60-1 ratio, we need to express as a percent. So that is just a matter of taking 1 and divide it by 60 in this case, and that's coming up as a 0.016 repeating. So I'm going to round that off to 0.017% solution. The 50-1 comes out nicely. When I do the same division, 1 divided by 60, I come up with 0.02. So therefore, we have a 0.017% solution and a 0.02% solution. We need to add something. We need to add oil to this solution right here. So in this case, if I have a gallon of that, I have 0.017 of, and we're going to keep it in ounces because usually our oil comes in ounces. The gas can be expressed in ounces. So 1 gallon, which is the amount I have, is 128 ounces. What I need to know is how much oil must I add to get a 0.02 solution, which is 50-1. The oil is 100%. So 100% expresses a decimal is 1. How much oil we're going to keep as X because we don't know. So that's going to be the amount of oil we add. And since 1X is the same as X, let's not muddy the waters here. It's just plain old X. I need these two to add up to the 50% solution. So I'm going to add these two. So what it's going to be is 128 plus X. So my equation becomes 0.017 times 128 plus X equals, and of course I ran out of space. I'm going to drop it down here, must equal this, 128 plus x. And now all I need to do is go ahead and work the equation. So in this case, 0.017 times 128, you can do it on your calculator, but here's the answer. 2.176. 1 times x is going to be x plus x. When I multiply 0.02 times 128, I get 2.56. And 0.02 times x would, of course, be 0.02x. There is my equation. So now basically all I need to do is combine like terms. So I have a whole x here. I'm going to move the x to the left. I'm going to move this constant to the right. So it's going to be x minus 0.02x. You could probably do that in your head. That equals 0.98x is equal to, I'm going to subtract 2.176 from I'm going to subtract, since I moved the x this way, I'm going to move this way. And I end up with, let's see. I moved the x to the left, so I'm going to subtract 2.176 from 2.56, and I get 0.384. Now all I need to do is divide both sides by 0.9x, 0.98x, 0.98x. And my 0.98s cancel. I'm left with x, which is the amount of oil I need. 0.384 divided by 0.98 is 0.39. And since we got our units in ounces and we're solving for oil, that's 0.39 ounces of oil. So the answer then, in 1 gallon of mix of 60 to 1, I'm going to add just one measurement, 0.39 ounces of oil, to bring it to 50 to 1. If we were going in the reverse, let's say I wanted to change a 60 to 1 gallon of gas oil to 30 to 1. Whatever amount I used, and this is, I believe, 2.1 to come to 60 to 1 for 1 gallon of gas, I would use 2.1 ounces to bring it to 61. If I wanted to reduce this 60 to 1 to 30 to 1, I would, in fact, that's simple. And we can see that illustrated here. Working our two proportions out. If I'm mixing at 61 and I've got a gallon of gas, which is 128 ounces, I'm going to set my proportions up like this. I'm going to cross multiply, so I get 60x is equal to 128. 128 divided by 60 would be 2.13. If I want to go, and remember I just said that if I wanted to reduce my 60 to a 30 mix, I would be adding twice the amount of oil that I did for 60. So here's the math for it. 30 to 1 mix, 128 ounces of gas, 30x is equal to 128. X in this case would be 4.26, which is twice what the 60 is. It all makes sense. And again, that's for 1 gallon of gas added at one time. Here, I've already got oil and gas mixed into the 50. So it is a different problem when I'm adding oil to an oil and gas mix to bring it up to 60. In this case, it would be for 1 gallon of gas, which is indicated here by the 128 here and here, 128 ounces in 1 gallon equals adding 0.39 ounces to 1 gallon of gas. And that will bring a 50 to 1 mix to a 60, I'm sorry, that will bring a 60 to 1 mix to a 50 to 1 mix. And you can kind of logic that out. I'm not reducing the gas because I can't. I'm adding oil, which reduces proportionately the amount of gas. Okay, guys, any questions? Please let me know. God bless. Keep up the great work. Hopefully this has helped you a little bit. It's math that we can really use in our everyday lives. All right, we will see you next time.